Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen news. Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 Wave 1 servers have now settled down a lot. There's a new PTU batch as well. Jumptown 2.0 is running for the last time, and a Star Citizen dev had a poem about Gen 12 renderer development. So Star Citizen Alpha 3.18.0 R is on the PTU, and Wave 1 PTU is just a whole lot more stable now. I'm able to log in, actually do some gameplay. There's no queues. There's the trams, the shuttles, the trains. They arrive and take me to where I want to go. And the ASOP terminals function so I can actually spawn in things and test things. Everything's not crashing all the time. So, I want to counter what I just said with some new facts. So, I jumped in again to the PTU a little bit later on, and well, it was better than it was on the first day that I played, but it is very broken still. So, elevators, very delayed. The trains and trams, doing weird stuff, janking around, but I was able to move around the universe. I was able to spawn stuff in still, but there are still a lot of problems that need to be solved that are not on the known issues list. That when I said earlier, oh, it's much better. Yes, the servers have calmed down. The login servers mean that I can get in, but I'm having loads of weird problems again now. So it is erratic. It does appear to be different on different landing zones. I tried to spawn at Orison. I couldn't get the lifts to work at all. The trams apparently weren't functioning. But when I spawned at New Babbage, trains were doing weird stuff, and the elevators were taking a while to get to me. But at least I was able to get to the spaceport and actually spawn a ship and get off planet. So yeah, it's erratic at the moment. Better than it was by a huge margin. Hopefully, it's just because the servers are overburdened at the moment because Cloud Imperium is still focused on US servers. That appears to be a large point of this. A large sort of glut of the issues are coming from the servers just being sort of overworked, overburdened, and fully packed. Very strange to have such a small, sort of compact stress test with so many people wanting to get on, but maybe that is giving them valuable data. Cloud Imperium seems to suggest it was. Cloud Imperium are pushing for an open PTU later this week, so much testing needs to be done, and we know that Alpha 3.18 Live is now targeted at January 2023. So, what's new in this patch? They made a balance pass on the Corsair and cut off fuel tanks and fuel intakes. They made further client, server, and network performance improvements. There are a ship ton of bug fixes, from mobiGlas apps to ship issues to bed logins and logoffs and all that sort of jazz. HUDs, the lore system, salvage stuff, loads and loads of crash fixes. There are also a variety of known issues still. So the pay fine button can be pressed as many times as you want, and every time you press it, it will subtract UEC every time you activate it. So don't do that. Just press it once and leave the terminal. Items appear to not be removed from a player's inventory when they sell them or hand them into a contraband kiosk, which means you have infinite money. Effectively. Walking on the hills near Whistler's Crypt, which is their new location at Daymar, can potentially kill or wound players. Gear can be lost when players die in armistice zones. Scanning will not show advanced statistics and details sometimes. Elevator doors open mid-transit, which is a new elevator one. Elevators always being my bane of every patch. The Merlin will not undock from the Constellation. The Mercury Star Runner only loads 6 SCU of cargo. The Reclaimer has no rear elevator interaction. There's a hitbox desync with vehicles not taking damage when attacked at certain parts of their hulls. Loot boxes sort of load indefinitely. Elevators and trams can jitter during transit of player characters, but at least they move. It is possible for vehicle HUDs to vanish for the player during flight and combat. Multi-tool variants display healing info regardless of attachments. Hostile AI can get stuck in walls at the new mission sites at Orison, and a hostile goes missing at the bounty assignment Neil Garrison mission. Loot boxes will disappear on approach or after opening sometimes as well, which is not ideal, but that list of problems is pretty minor. Cloud Imperium have been working on stability and fixing a load of bugs while we've been waiting to get to Wave 1 PTU. So they're actually in a relatively good place to plod through stress testing, get a load more stability, optimizations, and bug fixes in, fix that list probably pretty easily, I would hope. At least a good amount of them, and hopefully no other huge bugs appear before Open PTU. We're going to be covering some gameplay from 3.18 Wave 1 PTU over the next few days. Holiday Mayhem at Jumptown 2.0. So, from the 23rd of December, 4 PM UTC, until January the 4th, 4 PM, the last Jumptown 2.0 will be running on the 3.17.4 live servers. Cloud Imperium said, Jumptown 2.0, last call. While we're aware that 3.18's imminent wipe makes things less lucrative, we still wanted to launch the event over the holiday break for those simply looking for mayhem and carnage. As a reminder, this will be your last chance to check out this iteration 2.0 of Jumptown ahead of 2.1's debut in late January. So 2.1 does expand that gameplay area, or at least the points of interest at the Jumptown locations, massively. It like doubles their size. There's 2 dispensaries there. That should make for a much more interesting sort of event. But this is inspired by historic player-driven events back in 2019. Jumptown 2.0 is the official reimagining of those epic credit-fueled clashes. The dynamic event challenges players of all types to get in, get out, or even take over a lucrative drug lab uncovered in the Stanton system. Choose a side, gear up, and get ready for mayhem. To take the lawful path, be sure you have a crime stat of 0, and then accept the mission from Crusader Security. The drug boxes you collect at the mission site will need to be taken to the closest low-orbit space station. For example, if the mission is taking place at Jumptown, you would take the haul to Port Olisar. On the lawful path, if you've successfully delivered at least one of the contraband boxes to a low-orbit port, you will receive a UEC bonus on top of the price of the drugs you deliver. To take the less lawful path, you must have a crime stat of any level and then accept the mission from Ruto. To do this, you will need to have a non-negative affinity with the mission giver. Ruto knows how valuable this intel is, so he also asks a buy-in for the mission. On this path, all contraband must be taken to Grimhex to be sold off, regardless of where the mission is taking place. The unlawful path will provide a bonus to the price of each successful delivered drug box. So when we get this 2.1 version in January, and there's going to be a load of changes and a load of optimizations and improvements, but I think it's well worth people jumping in and having a bit of a blast with this 2.0 event for the final time. I saw a thread on the Spectrum forums. What is on your wish list after the Gen 12 renderer upgrade is all settled and working smoothly? What new graphical features do you want to add and improve? Sylvan CIG responded to this with a poem. I want one thing and one thing only. Let me express this in a poem. Virtual reality in Star Citizen, a world beyond our own, where we can fly through the stars and explore the unknown. With headsets and controllers in hand, we enter a realm of pure delight, where we can be anyone we want and journey through the night. We soar through the galaxy, past planets and nebulae. We meet new friends and allies in this digital reality. But as we journey on and see all that's in store, we can't help but feel a sense of awe at the beauty we explore. So let's embrace this new world and all that it has to give, for in the realm of virtual reality, we can truly live. He goes on to say, I'm still a strong believer that virtual reality will be the future in any aspect. The technology is not there yet, but I've already experienced what VR is capable of in a multitude of ways, and I'm still in awe to this day how freaking cool it can be, and scary AF in horror games. I do a lot of dancing in VR with full body tracking in VR chat, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. I want to see full body with eye and face tracking in Star Citizen one day. Just imagine what people could create for content and what amazing stories they could tell. And then going on a journey with your friends. Step into your spaceship, get ready, and take off into lands unknown with an immersion unmatched to this day. Come back at the end of your day to your apartment or house or whatever and have a nice evening there while looking at the stars on your balcony. I believe that Star Citizen could be that game for VR that anyone should try out if they have it. So as long as I'm working for CIG, I will try everything to make this possible. So I just think it's really interesting that Cloud Imperium, at least some of their devs, are really focused on VR. We know that Sylvan and some of the other devs have talked about sort of getting VR in-game in their spare time if necessary after Vulkan integration's gone through, and they are able to look at it in a bit more detail and work out what is actually viable VR-wise. Because yes, native support in Star Citizen for like the Index or whatever would be absolutely fantastic. Is VR tech there yet to play a game at really like good immersion levels? Well, actually, for some games, VR can be really fantastic at the moment. There's a long way to go with it. There's a lot more that can be done with VR. I wouldn't put all of my eggs in one basket with VR and Star Citizen and that sort of stuff, though I want Star Citizen to be a great game, exclusive and irrelevant from VR. VR adoption just isn't there yet. It's a lot better than it used to be, but we're just not there. And when we get like VR adoption closer to people having mobile phones, or more likely just a games console, and the tech gets a bit better and just general sort of processing power gets a little bit better, then I think we're in it for a sort of a good time with VR. But it looks like, yeah, Star Citizen, Squadron 42, Cloud Imperium, VR, it's all a bundle together. They're going to be looking at it. We might get some cool VR sort of support for Star Citizen in the not too distant future. But what do you think? Have you been playing Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 on the Wave 1 PTU servers? Are you enjoying it, or have you had a terrible time with it? What do you think of VR in Star Citizen? Do you think it's a great idea? Are you really interested in that? Do you think they should be not doing anything VR related yet, and it's a terrible idea? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Do you have eyes? I know I do. Do you want precise eye and head tracking that's natively supported in Star Citizen for that deep immersion? And it just so happens that Tobii Eye Tracker 5 has a 20% off sale until the 2nd of January 2023. So go to tobii.gg/BoredGamer or follow the links down below to get your discount.
Ho ho ho! Merry Nordmas!
It's Santa!
No, Timmy, it's Father Nordmas. I'm legally distinct and spread NordVPN cheer. Here you go, little Tim. Have some discount on your next NordVPN purchase. Just what you wanted. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer.
But Santa, we don't want a VPN.
I told you, Tim, it's Father Nordmas.
Every month we have a ship giveaway. For December, we are giving away the mighty Drake Corsair Explorer with a Star Citizen game package and lifetime insurance. This no-nonsense Explorer can take you and 3 friends to the limits of adventure around the verse, and although more focused on exploration and expedition, it is a great multi-role mission runner too. Comment on any of my videos during December to be in for a chance of winning that. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the videos, leave comments, and if you feel so inclined, use the join button under my videos and give a little bit each month to help the channel. It really, really does help. Or you can even become a Patreon or donate. Check out all the links below. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great time in the verse.